Hello, hello, everybody. So good to be here with you. And I have a question for you. Do you feel like sometimes, this is the question for you. So I want to say hello, hello. My question for you is this. Do you feel sometimes that you get held back by a fear that you have, and you can see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but there's something gripping inside of you that feels really hard and scary, and it's the thing that's holding you back from where you are and where you want to be? Have you ever been in those shoes before? And I think most of us have. And I want to share with you a really beautiful, sweet, tender moment that I had with my 6-year-old last night. And for him, it wasn't sweet and tender. For him, it was terrifying. But right now, right now we have, since the twins came home from the hospital, we have my son. We've created a whole sleeping space for him in the master bedroom so he wouldn't feel left out. And the twins move into their own room once they turn 1, so we have a few more months. They're 10 months old now. They just turned 10 months, which is amazing. But with that being said, we have a long hall from the master bedroom to the master bathroom, and it was bedtime, and my son needed to go brush his teeth. And I don't know what he watched. Like, I don't know. It was within this past year. He watched something. I don't know if it was Scooby Doo. I don't know what it was, but there was something that flipped in his brain that now he is scared of the dark and monsters. Like, he believes that there's a monster, there's someone or something in the dark, right? And we've all, like, as children, I know that I used to be scared of the dark for a little while. I mean, he wasn't forever. He slept in his own room, the whole 9 yards. But something switched, and he saw something, right? It was on a cartoon or something. And so he really, really didn't want to go brush his teeth down the hall. And he kept saying, "Can you come with me?" And I had the 2 twins in the bed with me, and they can totally override pillow walls now. Like, Chloe has jumped that wall, and I caught her by her ankle, like, I don't know, a quarter inch from slamming her head on the floor. And so I just realized, like, yeah, they can't be left with a pillow wall anymore. That doesn't happen. It doesn't work. And so it's like, I can't go with you. And not only that, but I really wanted him to do this on his own. Like, I really was standing for him to understand that he is that brave and he can do hard things. And he was in a real fret. I mean, I'll tell you, it was a really emotional night and a really emotional moment for him. And we didn't work through it right away. It took a long time for us to get to the point of him going down the hall and brushing his teeth, or at least getting his toothbrush and toothpaste and bringing it back to the master bedroom where he could brush. That was part of the negotiation. He could brush his teeth there in the master bedroom, but he had to go get his stuff. And he went through all the stages. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because he went through all the stages of what it takes to shift your mindset from something is impossible to I can do this. And what happened, I noticed I was getting frustrated and impatient with him. And then I realized, like, my gosh, this is a golden opportunity for him to understand that he can do anything he sets his mind to. And thank goodness I caught myself in the moment. And as parents, we don't always catch ourselves, right? Because we're tired, we're frustrated ourselves, whatever. So cut yourself a break, but let's do the best we can to start to catch ourselves more and more. But I caught myself and I started to pour different words into him, and I started to pour different ideas, and I started to help him understand who I see him to be. And I started to speak into him that way, like, Grayson, I know you, and you are super brave and you're super courageous, and I've seen you do really hard things, and I see that you always win. And I started to speak to him this way. And you guys, I honestly could see the shift start to happen. Like, he went from crying and upset to a softening and a calming, and he started to listen. And I mean, it took time, it took a lot of time, but I could see where his mind was starting to shift. I could visibly see it on his face. I could see where he was wanting to believe these words that I was speaking into him, right? And then I could see that he started to believe these things. You know what? I have done hard things. I am brave. I am courageous. What if I can do this? Right? And there was there was this journey he chose to go on. And I said to him, this is a choice. you can if you do this, you still get to play this game that he wants to play with his best little buddy Zach. If you do this, Grayson, you can play this game with Zach and tomorrow. And if you don't, that's okay, but it's a choice, right? Because I wanted him to own his result, and I wanted him to know that it was his choice whether he made the decision to go down the hall into the dark bathroom or not. And I chose the game because I knew that that was a strong enough why, just like we've talked about. Like, what is your why? Get so hooked into your why that nothing, whatever happens, however scary and terrifying it might be, you'll dig deep into the courage within you to do it anyways, right? And so I knew that this game with his buddy, his best friend Zach, was an important enough why for him to step outside of his comfort zone. And he tried all the cards, you guys. Like, he said, "Can I do it tomorrow night? Can I still have the game if I go down the hall tomorrow night into the dark?" And I said, "No. That if you don't do it tonight, the game is off the table. And you can choose to not do it, and that is fine, but the game is off the table." And the reason is, and I explained to him, just like how we talk about here, the reason is because if you procrastinate and you put things off that feel hard, they don't get easier the next day. They get harder, and most likely they get harder and scarier. Right. And so I just kept explaining to him where I was coming from and why I was holding this ground for him and what I saw in him and who I know him to be. And then he came to this moment. He's like, "Okay, I'm going to do it." I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to watch you. I will sit at the end of the bed and I will watch you go all the way down the hall. And then you can grab your stuff and you can come here and you can brush your teeth here with me." And he ran as fast as he could. He ran down the hall. He slammed on the light. He grabbed his stuff. He just left the light on, but that's okay. And he ran back and he brushed his teeth. And then he had to spit. Oh my gosh! I have to go back to the bathroom and I have to spit out my toothpaste. And so he ran back. He spit. He did all that. And I offered him, I said, "What if you stood in the bathroom for a minute with the light on? You stood in the bathroom for a minute, and you looked around, and you realized there was nothing scary there." He said, "I'm not ready." And I'm like, "Okay, baby steps. Baby steps still lead to the top." Like, last night was a huge win for him. And so then he came back, and we were talking about it. Well, he didn't want to talk about it tonight. He said, "Mom, I don't want to talk about this. This is too stressful for me. I don't want to talk about it tonight." And I said, "Okay, no problem. But what was one thing that you learned?" And he said, "I learned that I can be brave." So I share this with you because we've all been in those places before where we are afraid of the dark, right? We're afraid of the dark and we're afraid of running into it. We're afraid of grabbing our toothbrushes and grabbing what we need. But we also know that there's something really valuable on the table, and it's connected to our why. Who do we want to be, and what do we want our lives to look like? And unless we pull on something deep within us that just is like this inkling of belief in ourselves that we can do hard things, that we do have what it takes. If we put things off until tomorrow or next week or next year, whatever it is, it doesn't get easier. The dark feels darker and it looks scarier than ever before. But if we dig deep inside of ourselves and we go for it and we make that run down the hallway and we grab our toothbrushes and we complete the task, then there gets to be something birthed within you about, you know what? If I can do this, what else can I do? What else can I do if I just allow myself to challenge my fears and understand my fears are only in my head and they're not real? There was nothing in the bathroom, right? So I share this with you guys because it was a really powerful night for me. I'm glad that I was able to see what was happening. It was a powerful and beautiful and sweet moment, and terrifying for my husband, my son, but beautiful moment for him too, because he like, even we talked about it this morning on the way to school, and he put on his essential oils, which is his superpower, gives them courage. And we were talking about our intentions for the day, and I said, "Gosh, you remember how brave you were last night?" And a smile came on his face, right? So I share this with you today, an insight into our lives, because in hopes that it helps you, and it helps you look at where you might be holding back in your own life, where you're having stories in your head that it needs to be scarier than it really is. And my hope is that you do something with this today in honor of my son's bravery. You do something with this today, and I would love to know what is that. Go ahead and post below. I want to know. I want to celebrate with you, and this is a win. And let's make this an amazing day. Get into action with this right away within 24 hours, and let's make some magic happen. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.